came in, we have a little bucket there to accept donations. As she pointed out, they rely
We will talk
on
about,
the
Jack, that's on the agenda. On the agenda.
Okay.
I've made the agenda. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. One moment and I will be out of here.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Due to the lateness of the time right now, I'm going to ask that we skip over the break and go right into the meeting. So the first thing I'm going to ask for is an approval of the minutes and treasurer's report as put on the table and as emailed. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept them.
Make a motion to accept.
Thomas, and there's a second. All in favor? Any opposed? As old business, I just want to make the announcement that we are planning with the Women's Club and the Knights of Columbus, Men's Club, Women's Club, and the Knights of Columbus, an all-parish dance on Friday, January 13th. It will be here in the parish hall. Doors will open at 6 o'clock. Music will be provided by Bella Vista Strings, BV Strings, and we will have, they will be playing one set for about an hour starting at 6:30. We'll have a short intermission with some recorded polka and waltz music, and then they'll come back for about 45 minutes, and you'll be able to see our star, Miles Barrack, performing that night also. Thank you. Chili Supper is slated for January 28th. We are in the process of finalizing plans for that. We will be serving chili and stuffed baked potatoes. Is there any other old business that is not on the agenda? Okay, moving right along, then new business. The Wreaths Across America program is a program where we lay wreaths on the grave sites of the veterans that are buried at the various cemeteries in the United States. We are holding one here at Bella Vista Garden Memorial Cemetery, December 17th. That is a Saturday, 1 week before Christmas. December 17th at 10 o'clock. There will be a short military program at starting at 10 o'clock, and then following that program, all of the participants that came to the ceremony will lay the wreaths on the grave sites. It takes about 15 minutes to do that, so it lasts a little bit more than an hour at most, and hopefully the weather will be cooperating, and I hope to see some of you out at the Wreaths Across America at Bella Vista Memorial Garden. As Jack asked or made a statement as our guest was leaving this morning, we do have a donations bucket or jar. If anybody is interested in making a contribution to the Bella Vista Animal Hospital, it is a free will offering. Next on our list, on our agenda is we have accepted the resignation of our secretary, Troy Hoover, due to work commitments. He is asked to be relieved of that position. And I want to thank Troy for jumping in and working with us for the last several months. Let's give a round of applause to Troy. And then we need to fill that position. So I am going to, according to our bylaws, open the floor for nominations for secretary of the men's club. And I'm going to start that with nominating Jeff Metters. Is there a second to that nomination?
Second.
Chuck, thank you for that second. And then I'm going to call for nominations from the floor. Are there any other nominations for the position of secretary? Are there any other nominations for the position of secretary? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to cast a unanimous ballot for Jeff Metters.
So moved.
Chuck, is there a second to that motion?
Second. Second.
There's all in favor. The motion has been made and seconded to cast a unanimous vote for Jeff Metters. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Jeff, thank you. With that, I would just like to do, I'd like Jeff to come up. I would like to do a brief introduction. Jeff came to our parish in September, and I'm sure many of you have not had an opportunity yet to meet Jeff. Jeff was born in Rockford, Illinois, and served in the United States Air Force. He served as a pipe fitter building the Byron nuclear plant in Illinois. He was also served as an adjunct community college teacher doing computer-aided design. He has his last 10 years of employment, he was a manager of 3D printing lab in Northern Illinois University. He is a fellow Knights of Columbus, and he was a commercial pilot, non-passenger commercial pilot. Connie and his wife is Connie, and they've been living here since September, and they have 3 daughters and 5 grandchildren. I would like to welcome Jeff Metters as our new secretary. Jeff will be taking over his duties as of January. Thank you. At this time, I would like to call Chuck Priminal to the podium to give a report on the pastoral council.
Thank you, John. Jeff, it's been a pleasure having you with the parish because you have gotten involved in so many things, and I know Mike is appreciative of the fact that you've been picking him up the last couple of months to bring him to the meeting. So Jeff is very, very active in the parish. He hit the ground running, so great addition to the men's club and to the Knights of Columbus and to our parish. First off, from the committee or from the parish council, Parents' Night Out, you've probably seen the things in the bulletin about that, and you probably paid no attention to it. Well, neither did anybody else, because we had no takers in the month of November. So we're going to run it one more time, which was yesterday, and if there were no takers this time, the thing would be canceled. This is our effort, one of our efforts to try to get younger people involved in the parish, and thought if we, provide a free night out for parents to do shopping or date night or whatever, but there's just been no takers on it, so it probably will be going away. The group Christian Fellowship that meets in our parish, in the chapel actually, on Sundays after Mass, they recently donated $2,500 to our food pantry, and they donated $2,500 to Coats for Kids through the Knights of Columbus. So that group of people that meets in there, they've been very, very generous to us over the years, and this year have continued on. And then one issue I brought up last month was the parish hall rental, kind of a fiasco actually. So we had this plan made, and then the last meeting we had last week, we revised the whole plan. So just so you know, we have a committee of 3, and the first thing I'm going to do is look at the application process and what's on that, and then they'll report to the parish council, and we'll go through the proper steps. So that's back to square one on that one. And so just we know we're going to get more people wanting to rent Parish Hall, with Reardon Hall being under construction probably for almost a year now. It'll start in July, I think, and it's gonna go over a year, they said. So that's what's going on with the council. Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you, John.
Briefly from Finance Council, there were two major commitments to capital expenses, capital improvements. The first one was replacing of the grand piano in the choir area, and that was replaced with actually an even swap for the electronic piano that is now in the music area. And so that is off the table. Russ is currently looking at furthering the discussions and evaluations of being able to put fans in the church proper, the church. It's a matter of making sure that the fans, which are rather large, will be supported by the structure above. So that's what's happening so far we're up to date with the Finance Committee. Miles, I would like to call you up to give a report on the leaf blowing ministry.
So, yeah, so I just want to thank, we had 11 different people that volunteered to help this year. We worked over 3 days, three mornings and into the early afternoon. We had 13 houses this year. We went up from 9 last year, so a lot more work. And but it was a job well done. A lot of houses with a lot of leaves. We moved a lot of leaves, and we had seven blowers out yesterday to finish. And it was deafening, but it was awesome just to see how quickly we could get things done. Yeah, Jack.
You got some donations this year?
We did get some donations. We got $450 worth, so it's really nice.
It's always-
Any questions? We hope to see everybody out again next year if you're able.
Thank you, Miles, for taking the lead on that important ministry. Chuck, I would call you back up to talk about our road cleanup, which has been canceled for today.
Yeah, I failed to bring my swimming suit today, so we're not gonna do the cleanup. Some of those ditches out there are getting pretty deep, or I think the rain has probably stopped, but just a little too wet to plow today. Getting out on those slopes, they'd be awfully slippery, so we're not gonna risk anybody. And what I'd like to do though is, if we wait till the next meeting, it's, probably about a 25% chance we're gonna get a decent day. So what I'd like to do is pass around a sheet for anybody that's interested in doing the cleanup, and I know several people in here have done it before. And if you put your contact information on there, we'll try to come up with a date between now and the first of the year where we can get out on a nice day, maybe cold, but it might be sunny and, dry anyway, and get out and get it done, because we are due to do it in this month, in the month of December. We did it last in September. So I've got the sheet that's sitting next to Leon. He turns around, you'll see there's a sheet there that he can start and sign up on, and we'll get hopefully a few signatures on there, and I will contact you, and we'll try to set up a date that's works for the greatest majority. So appreciate anybody that's involved in that, and we just want to make sure we do our part. Thank you.
And thank you also for leading that ministry. We are going to be dispersing some funds this month to our obligations on the budget for the 2 seminarians that we are supporting. Their names are on the agenda. And we also are going to be submitting checks for the gifts that we donate to our clergy for Christmas. So that is already being taken care of. Thank you. Is Mike Young still in the building here? There is no report then from the Knights of Columbus. Clergy is not here today, so with that, I'm going to call up Chuck Feebick to do the compassion report.
Very good. Excuse me, I just happen to have one. First place, I'd like to, on the subject of compassion, I'd like to compliment Miles on the great job that he did arranging the leaf blowing this year and taking care of some fairly difficult lawns that probably above and beyond the call of normal duty. Give Miles because this all fits in the subject of compassion. And I want to say that St. Bernard's is a very compassionate parish. We do a lot of things that are done from diverse angles and so on that everybody isn't aware of. Our bingo committee does a lot of compassionate donations to needy people. You'll see a comment in the local paper showing pictures of money being distributed, thanks to Bob and his wife. The Women's Club, my goodness, how much compassionate work do they do? Donations that are absolutely unbelievable. If you've ever become aware of Darlene Kuda, who is in charge of compassion for the Women's Club, this woman does so much in promoting compassionate activities in our parish. We donate a great amount of money to the Indian Missionary Society for youth in India that have absolutely nothing. They're called railroad kids to some extent because they stand around the railroads begging for money unless we help them out in some way, which we do. Our Coats for Kids, we mentioned that a little while ago, $2,500 coming from the ministry that meets in our church. The Mars coordinate that particular program, and I don't know how many hundreds of coats they obtain every year and distribute. Chuck, can you make a guess from?
Well, they do the shopping and they get coats for almost nothing.
Right.
That $500 that we give them to the Knights, probably covers at least almost 100 coats.
At one time, there was a room in the back there that was absolutely full of coats and gloves and caps and just anything to keep a young person warm on a cold winter. And it isn't distributed just to people from the parish. It goes to the schools in our area. Our the Tootsie Roll campaign, designed to support children with developmental needs and so on. An amazing amount of money goes for that. So I just want to stress that compassion is something that we really do a lot of in this parish. And I think you should all be very proud of what we do.
Also the shoebox ministry.
Shoebox ministry, there's so many others that I also had, the Sunday breakfasts that we have that is contributing.
Brian's bags.
Brian's bag, yeah, for people who need a little jolt of different things that kind of, a little bit like the shoebox ministry in many ways. Anyway, I just wanted to stress that this is the compassion that our parish exhibits for the city of Bella Vista, for the Diocese of Little Rock, and so on. Okay,
Thank you, John.
getting on to the compassionate needs of our group. I want to pray for the repose of the soul, Pat O'Brien, George Scott, who many of you don't know, his wife is a member of the parish. He was a Mark Twain look-alike, and you probably have seen him around. I always thought about getting him to speak before the men's club, and he said he would at one time, but he developed some health problems, and we didn't do it. But George was a very unique person who absolutely looked like Mark Twain, and could duplicate him in many surroundings. I'd like you to pray for the health of Mike Machota, who's still having a difficult time, needs some more surgery. Ron Lambert called me the other day and said he had some difficulties with shingles. As you probably know, Ron has lost an eye at one time in his life since I've known him. And the shingles were in the area of his good eye. I don't know how he's come out. I haven't talked to him for a
I
while.
saw him yesterday at Walmart, and he's doing fine. He's starting to get back in. He went to Mass this week,
Good.
but he was picking up some additional medications. He still has some swelling in the eye area.
And this is a lesson for all of us. Get your shingles vaccine.
His wife is now going to do it.
Well, as a matter of fact, he got the first round and his wife did, because my wife had the shingles some 10 years ago, maybe. Let's pray for Ann